we're seeing some interesting distribution techniques for GandCrab ransomware.
Hey Todd, I understand you're looking into a story about GandCrab ransomware and how that's been kind of spreading out there on the internet.
Yeah, well, it's nothing new, right? We've been hearing about this ransomware for quite some time. We've gone through version 1, now we're on version 2. The researchers are seeing a significant uptick in email spam in delivering this ransomware.
So they'll send an email with an attachment like a zip file that might contain some VB script or something in it. And if you go through all those gyrations to open those attachments and execute them, you may end up infected with this ransomware, which would be bad.
Which makes this one of particular interest is a couple of things. One, they're seeing an uptick in legitimate websites that are now hosting this malware, right? So what these adversaries are doing is they're compromising known good websites that typically have vulnerabilities that just haven't been patched for whatever reason, and they're using those as the malware servers.
So the bad actor here that's running this ransomware scheme is compromising legitimate websites and installing the malware up there, so that has a better chance that the user will actually get to it and it won't be blocked by antivirus or a network-based perimeter firewall that knows that this would be bad.
And it seems to be targeting mostly small businesses is what they're seeing. So organizations that typically don't have the manpower, the resources, or whatever to even know about patch management, let alone, understand the vulnerabilities and go and apply the patches. And then the second interesting thing about this in particular, as we're seeing with this malware, is that there's a lot more as a service out there. So on the dark web, there's an advertisement where there's a organization that will pay you 60 to 70% of the actual ransomware collected, and they keep the difference in VIG for providing technical support to you for delivering and deploying the ransomware.
So Todd, if you use a legitimate website to host this, won't people, if it's really popular, won't people who use that site complain and let the legitimate website, whoever owns that, know that I got infected on your site, you guys need to clean this up?
Well, as you know, a lot of this happens in the background, right? The legitimate user doesn't know it, so they'll just program the malware to go out to the particular website and pull it down. The user doesn't have to visit it. They're just interacting with it in the background.
That's always concerning to me that, you can kind of spread these out across a bunch of legitimate websites, especially when there's a big, vast pool of them out there that are potentially usable to you. And you could probably get away with your scam or technique here for a while until somebody catches up with you. Or even if they do, you can move to another one, and keep it going.
I think that was kind of the most interesting and different part of Todd's story, because instead of standing up a malicious website and then somebody can shut it down and you can kind of put it in your filters and say, don't let anybody go there, if it's on all these other sites, it's a lot harder to just simply take it down.
Ransomware is troubling. A lot of the ransomwares we've seen, they like to target instead of like certain individuals or like mass ransomware infections, they'll target companies or other types of agencies that can't tolerate downtime very well, like a hospital or a transportation department or things of that nature.
Yeah, I sense kind of from the background noise that I hear that they do their homework, so they kind of know if there's willingness to pay, and that they kind of toy around with the price till they get a really good price that they think is about as much as they can get without people not being willing to pay it.
Right. So, We've talked about this before. They also have to make sure that they're legitimizing the business in some sense, right? So if you do pay, they want to make sure you're decrypting your file so that it validates the reason for paying.
All right, well, another one to keep an eye out on, and hopefully you don't see it in your company or business, but knowledge is power, so being aware of it definitely helps you prevent your company from becoming a victim of it.
You might be someone who hosts one of these websites that got compromised, and if that's the case, you probably want to have good practices around checking if any new files show up on your web server.
Make sure you have good backups so you don't have to pay a ransom. And then there's always the initial attack vector, so hopefully you have defenses and your people are very security aware, cyber savvy, so that they won't fall for whatever that lure is, whatever that trick is to get you to click or open something that you shouldn't.